Today we're going to be talking about enemy types. You might be wondering, what is normal enemies, elites, and grade ones? So let's start off with normal enemies. You find them across the whole world. They are the most common enemies you'll find. In silos, they look like this. And they have a small HP bar and they don't have that much health. If you ever wondered and looked through your mods and hovered on any of them, you will find, or simply can go here and search up normal. It's gonna filter out the substats for you and you will see a mod that has damage against normal enemies. What does this do? Well, it sounds as simple as it says. You gain an increased damage against normal enemies. Right now, I do not have a mod equipped on my gun, and all I have for damage bonuses is 5% weapon damage. So now shooting this mob right here, we will do only 298 damage in the body. If we quickly equip that mod, that gives us 6% normal enemies damage, we will now do 316 in the body. Unequipping it gives us back the old damage. If you are a new player and you don't have a mod, especially for like a crit build or elemental build, and you want to increase your damage, you can always search for normal enemies over here, or elite enemies, or great ones. And we will get into that later, what elites and great ones are. Even if the mod that you're wearing for your build doesn't match the stats. Say if you're running elemental build, then you need elemental damage and status damage, but this one has crit. As long as you have damage against normal enemies or elites or great ones, you can still equip that mod to deal extra damage. So you might be wondering, what is this? Is this an elite, or normal, or gray one? Normal enemies have a smaller health bar, while elite enemies have a larger one. And to test that, we can easily just check by first shooting the first bullet and seeing how much damage we do. So we do 305, equipping the mod 6% normal enemies. We now do 324, just to make sure 100%. Let's equip an elite enemies mod and shoot this blob. The damage is the same and it doesn't get increased. Now as you can see, we have another mob over here. It does look like an elite, but it certainly is not. So let's shoot it. We do 488 now in the head. With the mod equipped with elite enemies, I'm gonna unequip it. And I still do 488 in the head. Same amount of damage. So let's put a mod, normal enemies. 6%. And now if I shoot in the head, we do 518 damage to it. Which means this mob is a normal enemy. So now we got to the part where we found an elite enemy for sure. You can see it has a shield, it has an icon next to it. And if it does have an icon next to it, that is for sure an elite enemy. Now in silos, mostly there will be one boss and one mini boss. As you can see, a boss just appeared and there's a health bar that appears on the top of the screen. If that happens, the enemy is considered a great one and it does not have a health bar above it. Let's equip a mod that has great ones, 3.6%. We do 1087. If we unequip it, we do 1050. Now, to compare that, if it's an elite, let's just equip an elite mod and see how much damage we do. We do 1050, which was the same damage without the mod. That just proves it that this mob is considered a gray one. So that's the main boss room. What about the other room, which is considered the mini boss? There is a Mother of Life mob that you have to kill in this room. As soon as we enter the room, there's no health bar in the middle of our screen. And there's only a health bar above the enemy, which means it is not a great one for sure. And since it's a mini boss, all mini bosses will be considered elite enemies and not normal enemies. So let's test the damage and let's see if it's true. So let's try shooting the boss. We do 625 in the head, 525. Let's put a gray ones. That'll be 3.6. Same damage, even if I unequip the mod. Now, let's put 4.5% elite enemies. And we do 544 and 343 in the body. Before, this mob used to be an elite enemy. Now, it has been changed. We're doing 395 without the mod. With gray ones, we're doing 382. Putting an elite enemies mod, the damage does not change. So if you're a veteran player as well, and you're watching this video and you're wondering why your damage changed, that is because this boss has been changed to a gray one rather than an elite. Now, one last thing about damage is that gray ones and elite enemies substats do not count towards the dummy, which is this. Since the dummy is considered a normal enemy substat will increase your damage against the dummy. Which, it's not really that useful. It's good for displaying good numbers, but your DPS, if you have damage against green ones or elites, is not real once testing your damage on the dummy. You would have to test the damage on a boss. A really crucial tip I have for you, you can press H while in inventory, and what you can do here is click preset here, click R to save the preset, and here it will be your preset. You can click enter and rename it to whatever you want. Make sure you save the preset with all your cradles equipped, all your mods equipped, all your armor equipped, everything that you want to save. Once you do save, you can also hold R to override it, and you can click another preset by clicking F to swap to it. As you can see, the preset is instantly swapped and we have our full build. So whenever you run a silo, you can make a preset called normal enemies, elite enemies, gray ones, and then swap to them accordingly to deal and kill bosses way quicker. And that will just save you time and you will deal way more damage. And it's obviously better to have couple presets if you're maining a build instead of having one preset. You can see how this mod has 10% normal enemies damage, and if you're, let's say, running a elemental build, this will do more damage rather than a mod that has 3.2% elemental damage and 4.8% status damage, because it doesn't have normal enemies. And that damage against normal enemies boosts your damage by so much because it's a new multiplier for that specific enemy type. For example, right now you can see I have grade 1's memento build over here. And if you check my mods, they all have damage against gray ones. Even if you had no crit damage or no elemental damage or no weapon damage, they will boost your damage by so much. Let's try shooting the dummy right now. And look at the damage. We're not doing that much. Now, I just made a troll meme preset. You can see that we have damage against normal enemies 10%, 10%, and it's literally Frost, Vortex, literally mods that I don't even use and not supposed to be for the memento build. You can see we have damage against normal enemies. Every single piece has 10% damage against normal enemies, right? Mods don't even match. It's the elemental damage. And look what happens when I shoot the dummy. We are doing way more damage with a troll meme build. How does that make any sense? That's why, because the damage against normal enemies inflates the damage by so much. Just because we already have so much weak spot damage, weapon damage, and the normal enemies substat is always going to be 0 because only mods can increase the normal enemies. Normal enemies, elites, or gray ones are especially very good for elemental builds because it multiplies all of your damage, including your bullet damage and your elemental damage. If we put any mod, doesn't matter what mod it is, as long as it has normal enemies damage, take a look at this one, damage against normal enemies 10%, and now if we check and press C in our inventory, you can see we have damage against common enemies 10%, and shooting the dummy will give us 536 damage and 21 burn damage. The more elemental, status damage, and normal enemies, elite enemies, or gray ones you stack, the higher damage your explosions and burn damages will do, and this applies to every single weapon. So how do we calculate this damage? First, we have to go to the weapon you're using. If you're using a different weapon, then you have to find it over here. Go to weapons and right click the weapon. We are using boom boom, so right click it. Go to details, scroll down until you find the keyword, press X. This is how its burn mechanic works. So it deals 12% of your psi intensity as elemental damage or status damage. If you're wondering what is status damage or elemental damage, it's the same thing. They're just different multipliers, that's it. Every single keyword effect is explained over here so you can read about it. If you want to find out, for example, Boom Boom's burn damage, you need to find your psi intensity. We have 125. Our psi intensity is the base damage for elemental builds, so 125 that is. Now, if you read about this weapon's passive, it says hitting a target triggers an explosion, dealing 300 psi intensity AoE blaze damage. That 300%, we will need that number. We're going to use that together with the psi intensity. It's actually 200%, not 300%. Just a translation error or a mistake in the description. So we put that as a new multiplier, and as you can see here, this is our base damage multiplied with brackets 1 plus 200 and divided by 100. And that 200 is basically that 200%. And that will give us the final damage, 375. Now, of course, you can add a new multiplier. Obviously, it's not all because there's more things affecting our damage. And what could it be? It could be status damage. It could be elemental damage. But of course, other damage bonus, as you can see here, is common enemies, 10%. So let's put in our status damage is 0, so we don't have to touch that. Elemental damage is 30%. Again, as I said, elemental and status is the same thing. They're just different multipliers. If you had status damage, then you add it into a different multiplier. Now, if we add that 30%, we have 488. We're coming close. As you can see, that's the damage we do without the mod. With the mod, we do 536. And if we add that extra 10%, 536 we have. And if you want to add more and more multipliers, all you need to do is copy this line here, paste it, and this will be your multiplier. Let's say you want to add like 50%, boom, there you go. Add that, and just keep adding more and more if you have more multipliers. Will you do more damage against players with normal, elites, and grade 1 substat? The answer is no. It's strictly for PvE. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope this was helpful, and feel free to subscribe, join my Discord for more information. I have lots of information in my Discord. If you check out my Once Human Cheats channel, that's where you can find so much info about animals, taming, the best hides to put on your armor, full mods list, and also some free builds. That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care and peace out.